What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're here with some more NFL preseason DFS picks and lineup advice for DraftKings and FanDuel. This time for tonight's Thursday two-game slate. Welcome. I'm Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy, and this is the first video of the last week of the 2024 NFL preseason DFS season. Let's make it a great one. In this video, I will give you 4 plays, one at each position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, that you need to consider for your DFS lineups tonight. Give you a couple tips along the way and some playing time notes, and it'll be a pretty quick video. First, before we get into it, I do want to shout out a couple of our members. Occupy has been absolutely crushing preseason DFS. If you've been around, you've seen this, whether it's in our Discord or on our Twitter. First shout out to our guy Leon, longtime member, one of our longest standing members, won the Dallas and Raiders Showdown slate last week for 5K. And then longtime member Pitt Panther won the Premier Eagles Patriots Showdown slate on Thursday Night Football for 25K. So if you're watching the videos, you're getting some of these picks. Our daily plug and our research dashboard is where a lot of the work is being done, especially for the Showdown slates. So make sure you check that out. But let's turn our attention back to tonight. And we'll start at quarterback. And really quickly, Chicago and Kansas City, both teams are resting their starters. We will not see Caleb Williams. We will not see Patrick Mahomes. For Indy, Anthony Richardson is expected to play a quarter to a quarter and a half. And typically that would be pretty decent for a 2-game preseason DFS slate. But he's been told to limit his running. And we've seen time and time again in preseason DFS when a starting quarterback is slated to play a quarter and a half. Sometimes they play less if they're more efficient, or they get hit and the coach gets nervous and pulls them out. So Richardson, a good high-risk play, but no one has the playing time security that Logan Woodside does for Cincinnati tonight. Joe Burrow and the starters will rest. Jake Browning still dealing with that rib injury. I don't think they're too thrilled with Rocky Lombardi. And as a result, Woodside played basically 3 quarters last week, and we expect more of the same this week. Now, there is a chance that Lombardi comes in earlier and Woodside only plays a half. That's still likely to be the most playing time of any quarterback on the slate. And Woodside not a complete bum. Threw for 130-something yards last week, 120-something yards in that action. And again, if we get 5+ points for our quarterback when no one else is scoring 15+, we're totally fine in preseason DFS. And if he throws a touchdown, then we're rolling. Chicago's going to have 3 quarterbacks active. Kansas City will have 3 quarterbacks. Indy could have up to 5 quarterbacks. So when you're looking at pure playing time, it is a no-brainer. Woodside, and again, probably the second most talented quarterback outside of Anthony Richardson that's going to play. So at least a significant amount. So Woodside is the easy, top, low-risk quarterback play for tonight's preseason DFS slate. Now, Cincinnati is going to have a lot of guys that we're going to be willing to play tonight. They're going to be extremely thin at most of their positions, and that's no different at running back. We expect Zach Moss and Chase Brown to rest with the starters. Chris Evans, unfortunately, tore his patellar tendon in practice. He is out. That leaves just Travion Williams, Noah Cain, Elijah Collins. And based on the trends that we look at in our opportunity dashboard, just show you really quickly if you haven't seen this. You can look at snap counts, targets, and opportunities for all players dating back to 2019 to get a sense of how coaches typically play preseason week 3. Invaluable resource. No other site does this. If they do try it, they don't do it accurately, at least not as accurately as we do. And while the trends don't necessarily point to Elijah Collins being the #1 snap leader, his production so far leads us to believe that he'll be the top running back tonight for Cincinnati in terms of production. Leads the team in terms of running back receptions so far this preseason. And again, even if Noah Cain or Travion Williams gets more snaps, there's only 3 guys to play. So all these guys are going to get at least a quarter, probably a quarter and a half, and if we're lucky, they get a full half of action. But Elijah Collins, 4 receptions, the receiving upside on a decent team. Elijah Collins has proven to be pretty productive so far when he touched the rock in preseason DFS, and we're going to go back to him again tonight. And again, do not be afraid to play Noah Cain, probably our favorite high-risk running back of the group, or Travion Williams in your lineups tonight. Again, if a team has just 3 running backs, that's going to be great for preseason DFS. All right, little hydration, and let's move on to wide receiver. Now, I could just give another Cincinnati player here, a wide receiver. We'll save that for the daily plug. But there are some Cincinnati wide receivers you can easily pair with Woodside as well. Instead, let's go to Kansas City. Nico Remigio, one of our favorite plays. played him a lot in last year's preseason DFS. Kansas City typically plays the guys that they've played the most through 2 weeks. Again, in preseason week 3, no better play than Nico Remigio, who's been leading in snaps, but also has been dominating in targets. If we pull up the target dashboard at Occupy Fantasy, we see that Nico saw 6 targets in week 1, 3 targets last week. By far leads the team in targets this preseason with 9, 60 air yards in total. Great profile, productive in preseason before, is slated to play a lot. You can't ask for a much better preseason DFS play than Nico Remigio. His teammates, Justin Ross and Cornell Powell, are fantastic plays as well. They're a little difficult to stack with a quarterback if you're going away from Logan Woodson, because they are going to be playing Carson Wentz, Chris Olodokun, and Ian Book in some capacity. But again, all 3 of those guys are great plays in a vacuum by themselves as one-offs in your DFS lineups. Finally, we're going to go back to Cincinnati. And again, this isn't like a Rams slate where they only play a handful of guys at each position and we tell you to get 4, 5, 6 Rams in your lineup. You might actually do that tonight with Cincinnati, potentially Chicago as well, just because of, 1, it's a 2-game slate, but 2, there's going to be a lot of guys out for both of those teams. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with having 4 Bengals, 5 Bengals, 6 Bengals sometimes in your DraftKings lineups. Now, the max on FanDuel is only 4, but no issue having 4, and in your low-risk lineups, it's probably smart to have 4 Cincinnati or Chicago players. Now, if we look at tight end, obviously everyone gravitates towards Tanner Hudson, preseason legend, and draws a ton of targets when he's on the field. But he's going to make this team as probably their number 3 tight end. Not sure he plays a ton tonight. Only 36% of the snaps last week. Let's take a look, actually. We could easily look this up. So if we look at tight ends, week 2, Cincinnati. And again, this is free with Occupy Fantasy membership, occupyfantasy.com. We see Hudson, just 16% of snaps last week. It was Eric All, their rookie tight end. Let's scroll down so you can actually see this. There you go. Hudson, 16%. Eric All, 57%. Now, he didn't play in week 1. Eric All, he did. He played 4%. Eric All was being ramped up throughout camp, had an offseason injury, slowly worked his way back into practice, slowly worked his way into game shape, and got a ton of reps last week. We know that drafted rookie tight ends tend to get a lot of run in preseason DFS, and even more so when they miss a week or some camp, as in Eric All's case. So he had 2 targets last week. Not mind-blowing by any means, but we get a tight end who could play 60% of the snaps, was talented enough to be drafted in the NFL draft. He's a guy that we're going to love to play. So we'll put Eric All in our tight end spot as one of our top tight end options tonight. And we have a handful of guys that could easily, again, tight end, you get a couple of catches, you're rolling in preseason DFS. Eric Hall has the potential to do that and even more, but there are other guys who could certainly match him. And for that information, if you're the type of person who just watches these videos for the free picks, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for doing that. The best way to give back is to just click subscribe. Less than 50% of our viewers are subscribed to the channel. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers before the regular season starts. Just click subscribe. Helps us out, but it's mutually beneficial as well because you'll get notified whenever we go live or upload any videos for the next couple of days of preseason slates, and give us a thumbs up on the video. That's the easy way. Now, you want that extra edge, then you should check out OccupyFantasy.com, our daily plug. I'll pull it up now for you. This was a Sunday slate, so it ranks all of our players, our top plays by each position, top stacks, stacking partners, low risk and high risk single game showdown rankings, slate notes. I think this is important, how to approach the slate from a high level, bankroll and contest recommendations, and then playing time notes for every single team on the slate. Every player, what we expect, playing time trends, opportunities, and playing time predictions, injuries, and practice notes. You can't get a more in-depth information article than our daily plug at OccupyFantasy.com. And Sunday was especially crazy because we had a surprising amount of pregame news. We made 5 updates to the plug literally an hour before lock. And some of these were extremely important. A.T. Perry was important in winning some contests. And then Mason Fairchild, the tight end, who became a late play, like a really late play, wasn't even on our radar, but he was in a couple of GPP winning lineups as well. So get all the news and notes and the last minute changes. We're going to have a ton in preseason week 3 as teams begin to rest even more and more players in the final week of preseason. These final updates are going to be the utmost important. So make sure you remember OccupyFantasy.com, get all of our rankings and the last minute updates. Discord, we're also posting updates as frequently as we can in Discord, especially when we get these last minute notes, any tweets we find. So OccupyFantasy.com/Discord is a way to chat with members of the community, chat with staff, but also get these late breaking updates ASAP. So that'll do it for the video. Appreciate you watching as always. If you have any questions, I will monitor the channel throughout the day. Drop a comment below. If you've been winning in preseason, drop a comment. If you have a prediction for tonight, just say hi. Let's see how many comments we can get on tonight's video. Let's see if we can get 20 plus comments. So do your part, drop a comment, help us out in the algorithm. So Brian Jester for Occupy Fantasy, thank you for listening, and good luck in tonight's 2-game preseason DFS slate.